My beloved child, this is not a coincidence. This moment was written, and I, Archangel Michael, have been waiting not just for minutes, but for hours. Heaven has stirred me with urgency. And now, the time has come to speak directly to your spirit. You were never supposed to see this by accident. You were drawn here by divine alignment, by sacred design. There is something critical unfolding in the unseen, and before this message ends, you will feel it. My child, the heavens have watched the battles you've endured, the ones no one clapped for, the wounds you covered while smiling, the nights you couldn't sleep because your soul was pacing, even in silence. I see you. I've been watching closely, because the moment you're standing in now is dangerous and sacred at the same time. There is an enemy's agenda being exposed as we speak, and I was sent ahead to prepare your heart before it unfolds. Listen carefully. This is a divine emergency. I don't use that word lightly. For too long, the whispers of heaven have tried to reach you, but your heart was burdened, distracted, tangled in things you were never meant to carry, and now your spirit is restless. That's not anxiety. That's not fear. That is the Holy Spirit, alerting you to danger you cannot see, but I have already begun to fight for you. Michael says, you must not scroll away. You must not delay. This moment is your spiritual alarm, a trumpet sounding across realms. If you hear it now, type 911 in the comments to confirm you are awake. There is someone watching, not with love, not with admiration, but with intent. Heaven has seen the eyes that pretend to protect you while they record your downfall. She smiles in front of you, but her motives are stained. She cloaks her manipulation in charm. But I tell you now, she has no more access. I have closed that door. Her season in your life is over, and still your heart wants to offer her one more chance. But beloved, hear me. That would delay your destiny. Forgive her soul, but do not reopen what heaven has already sealed shut. Gabriel watches from above, Raphael walks beside you, and I, Michael, stand guard at your door. This is not overreaction. This is divine protection in motion. Type 444. If you believe your life is surrounded by angels, you have been under spiritual surveillance. Someone you loved once has been silently taking notes, feeding your words to those who cannot carry your promise, using your trust as an entry point for delay and confusion. But today, that veil is being ripped down, and I declare, the one who tried to collect evidence against you'll now find themselves caught in their own trap. My child, heaven is moving. The court of divine justice has convened, and your name was mentioned, not for judgment, but for vindication. Everything they tried to accuse you of, everything they whispered about you in private, will now become a mirror of their own guilt. You must not defend yourself. You must not prove your innocence. God is revealing it all. Stay still, stand firm, and let heaven speak. There is something else. A shift is happening in the spirit. This isn't just about protection, it's about release. You are being pulled out of a season of emotional debt, pulled away from attachments that only drained your clarity. This discomfort you feel, it's not confusion. It's the weight of chains breaking. If you've been feeling heavier, slower, strangely disconnected, that's the spiritual evidence of chains falling. Your roots being pulled from poisoned soil, and your soul knows it. Type 111. If you feel your spirit waking up. Michael says, the enemy disguised itself as concern, as love, as mentorship, but the mask is gone now. Heaven is exposing what you felt in your spirit long ago, and it will no longer be hidden. The one you once prayed for is not who you thought. The person you shared secrets with is now being revealed in dreams, signs, and sudden restlessness. Stay alert. Do not confront. Do not retaliate. Shift quietly. Pray boldly. Move when I say move. This is your season of release, of reversal, of reset. The things they tried to delay, heaven is now fast-tracking. New doors, new protection, new elevation. But to step through, you must release the weight. Let go now. My child, you are being watched, but so is your watcher, and I stand between you. This message was the last warning before breakthrough, before tables turn, before what they thought they buried comes back in resurrection power. Type Amen if you believe that. Heaven is working even now. Stay with me. Part 2 is next, and what I reveal there is what they never wanted you to hear. Like, share, and subscribe. You were chosen for this moment. Now walk in it. My beloved child, even now, as you continue to listen, heaven is still speaking, louder than before. The alarm in the spirit has not ceased, and I, Archangel Michael, remain in position. The reason I waited was not because you were far from me, I say with fire and tenderness, but because the moment had to be precise. This is the second you were born to hear. You are not late, you are not behind, you are exactly where prophecy required you to be. Michael says, there was something I had to intercept before I allowed you to see clearly. The danger was close, but heaven was closer. Someone tried to step in again, a whisper from your past, a voice that sounds familiar, a message that almost pulled you back, but heaven blocked it. That missed call, that delayed reply, that cancelled meeting, it was not rejection, it was redirection. Heaven's sword stood between you and the distraction. Beloved one, I know your heart. You still want to give chances. You still want to believe the best. But listen, compassion must never compromise your assignment. Michael says, this next season is too fragile for false reconciliation. You must let me choose who stays and who must watch from afar. You are not closing the door out of pride. You are closing it out of purpose. Type 444. If you're ready to guard your spiritual gates with holy discernment, the Spirit has been testing your silence. Not to punish you, but to strengthen your listening. And now that your ears are opened, you will begin to hear what they tried to hide, their plans, their alliances, their unspoken jealousy. Michael continues, they tried to walk behind you undetected, but their footsteps echoed too loudly in heaven's courts. Now the evidence has been gathered, now the watchers have been watched, now the trap has turned. But this is not just about them, this is about you. You are being pulled into position. There is a reason your rest has been disturbed. There is a reason. Certain people are fading. You are being repositioned by divine hands. Gabriel has already written the coordinates. Raphael has begun the healing. And I, Michael, am now unlocking the gate of the next level. Walk through it with reverence. Walk through it in silence, and know you are protected. Type I receive if your spirit agrees, beloved one. If you are still here, it means your spirit recognizes that this is not just a message. This is an alert, a divine unveiling, a sacred signal sent straight into your heart because something is unfolding right now in the unseen. Archangel Michael speaks again. This time, his voice carries fire, not of anger, but of justice. Child, I must show you what was hidden. I must speak what was concealed. For your name has been spoken in secret places, not in prayer, but in plots. Heaven has heard conversations that you were never meant to hear. Whispers exchanged behind closed doors, plans drawn to entangle you emotionally, spiritually, even financially. You have felt it, the anxiety that came from nowhere, the sudden isolation, the confusion that clouded your mind. That was not you. It was the pressure of spiritual surveillance. Michael says, you were not paranoid, you were discerning, and now the Spirit confirms it. There is a female figure, charming, polished, persuasive, but her smile was a disguise. She appeared as a friend. She came close in your weakest season, and while you opened your heart, she took notes. Michael reveals, She recorded your words, studied your movements, whispered lies under the veil of concern, but now her time has expired. Heaven has blocked her access. Your space is now sealed by divine authority. Type 444 if you feel the divine firewall rising around you. Beloved child, I know it's painful to admit that someone you trusted was assigned to betray, but heaven never slept. While you prayed for peace, the angels investigated. While you wept in silence, heaven documented every deceit aimed at your heart. Now comes vindication. Gabriel has opened the scrolls. Raphael is pouring healing over your memories, and I, Michael, have drawn my sword. No more silence, no more confusion, no more delay. The traps they set are crumbling. Michael says files, messages, intentions, and schemes are collapsing in their own hands. The evidence they hope to use against you will now prove their own guilt. Heaven is not blind. God is not silent. Your obedience has not gone unseen, and now justice is being served, not in wrath, but in heavenly precision. This is a divine reversal. You are not being buried. You are being revealed. What they tried to cover will now become your testimony. What they tried to distort will become your promotion. Michael speaks. This is the moment where heaven lifts your name above the noise, where your work is honored, where your voice is heard, not by those who mocked you, but by those anointed to bless you. If your heart agrees, type 1111 and let heaven see your faith align with this hour. But child, there is more you must understand. Not everyone around you can go where you're going. Some are clinging to you, not because they love you, but because they fear who you'll become without them. That is not covenant, that is control. Michael says, release them, remove their access, close every emotional back door. Because what's next cannot afford leakage. What's next is too sacred to share with spectators. The Spirit has been nudging you to be quiet, to move silently, to stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Now is the time to obey. The next 3 days will hold signs, small details, repetitive names, unusual messages, sudden urges to stop or pause. These are not random. They are spiritual codes. Michael whispers, watch what you feel. Don't dismiss the chills. Don't explain. Away the discomfort, discern it. If you feel this already stirring in your chest, type 222 now. Beloved one, heaven is reordering the battlefield, and in this reordering, some people will exit your life. Not because you're cursed, but because you're being called higher. Some opportunities will be withdrawn, not because you failed, but because they were false fronts, tests, not doors. Michael speaks again. There is something better being released, and it required the removal of distractions. Don't fear the silence, don't chase what walks away. Let go without bitterness, because the divine restructuring has begun. You are being positioned in rooms you haven't prayed for, blessed in ways that don't make sense, and protected from enemies you didn't even know you had. The watchers have been watched, the investigator has been exposed, the secret plotters are losing control of their own weapons. Michael says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, but understand this, weapons did form, but heaven broke them before they were fired. You're not imagining it. Your exhaustion wasn't laziness, it was warfare. But now comes the rest. Now comes the resurrection. Type 555 to mark this moment of divine reversal. Beloved child, you are rising, not as revenge, but as fulfillment of prophecy, of promise, of protection. Heaven is still speaking. In part 3, I will reveal what they feared most and why you were chosen to carry what they could not. Like, share, and subscribe. And if this resonates deep in your bones, type, I receive the exposure. The truth is unfolding, and you are at the center of it. Beloved one, you've come far, and if your spirit still leans in to listen, then this message, this very breath from heaven, was indeed written for you. Michael speaks again, his voice no longer trembling, but steady, certain, because what comes next is not theory. It is prophetic reality. Child, he says, the thing they tried to keep from you is now being unsealed. The truth they feared the most is not your weakness, it's your awakening. They weren't afraid of what you lacked. They were afraid of what you would remember. And now, you are remembering. You are remembering who you are, what was spoken over you, what was written into the foundations of heaven before you were born. Michael says, the traps were never about what you did. They were about who you would become. And now that you are closer than ever, the resistance has increased. Beloved, this is not a curse. It is a confirmation. Every delay, every closed door, every sudden betrayal, they were signs that you were stepping beyond the grip of the ones who depended on your ignorance. There was someone who acted like they cared. They knew how to speak your language. They knew what to say to make you stay a little longer. But what they feared most was that you would see through it. Heaven now confirms they never wanted your freedom. They needed your bondage to feed their illusion of control, but that illusion is breaking. Michael says, your spirit has outgrown their reach, and that is why they are turning desperate. Your name, beloved, has been written in rooms of influence. Conversations have already taken place about your future. But there was one who tried to block the flow. She came with praise, but carried poison. She clapped for you in public, but tore you apart in private, and she didn't come alone. Michael whispers, they tried to infiltrate your peace. They tried to delay your provision, but I stopped it. The hands sent to rob you are now restrained. You may feel it, the quiet lifting of tension, the sudden urge to clean, to delete, to close the door. That's your spirit responding to heaven's instructions. Do not reopen what God has sealed. Do not explain your distance. Do not apologize for following divine direction. Type 444 to affirm, I choose heaven's instruction over emotional guilt. Michael says, you have passed the test of silence. Now you will walk in the reward of obedience. There is someone new approaching, someone whose spirit has been aligned with yours in heaven's courts. They are being drawn to your light, not to dim it, but to bless it. But they cannot arrive until you finish closing what remains open, a gate. Thread a leftover emotion, beloved one. You must guard your environment like a holy altar, for what's coming is too sacred for casual exposure. Michael declares, the next 7 days will shift your positioning. Something you thought lost will return. A message will come through someone you never expected. A confirmation wrapped in subtlety. Don't miss it. Stay in tune. Stay low in spirit. Stay high in expectation. The enemy has launched its final attempt, not with violence, but with temptation. The offer will look familiar. It may even carry spiritual language, but something inside you will feel off. Do not silence that feeling. Discernment is your shield in this season, says Michael. Test every spirit, even the ones that look like light. If you feel heaven reminding you now of someone or something, type 911 to activate divine clarity. Now hear this. What they gathered to destroy you, heaven has gathered to promote you. The lies spoken in dark places will become your elevation platform. You will speak not from pain, but from testimony. Michael says, you will teach others how to walk through betrayal with dignity, how to exit chaos with grace, and how to discern wolves in robes. This is not the end of your warfare, but it is the turning point. Your vindication is no longer coming, it is already unfolding. Beloved, you will not need to fight this battle in the flesh. Your only task is to stay surrendered. Heaven's army is already in motion. You are surrounded. Your steps are ordered. Your name is sealed. Your season is shifting. Michael ends this part with this decree. Tell them, whoever doubts, this isn't emotional manipulation. This is spiritual movement. I have come and I will not leave until what is promised is fulfilled. If your spirit says yes, type "I received the revelation" in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Your breakthrough is breathing. Stay tuned for part 4, where the full unveiling continues. Beloved one, you've sensed it for days, a pressure in the air, an invisible tension that followed you from room to room. And now, the truth behind that weight is being made known. I, Archangel Michael, speak again with urgency. What you thought was over is still being monitored, but heaven has intercepted the watchers. There is a divine investigation unfolding, but not of you for you, Michael says. While the enemy hired observers, heaven assigned angels. Yes, someone has been tracking your steps, asking questions quietly, recording moments that were meant to be private, not to celebrate you, but to trap you, to use your own light as bait, to provoke reactions, to manipulate the narrative around your name. But the strategy has failed, because beloved, heaven saw everything, not only the actions, but the motives behind them. That charming conversation was a setup. That sudden check-in was an entry point. Gabriel now opens a sealed scroll, and on it is written the evidence of the unseen. The conversations behind your back, the intentions wrapped in concern, the words laced with envy, the flattery that carried venom. Michael speaks firmly now. I have exposed them in the spirit, and you will begin to feel them falling away. Don't chase, don't explain, don't grieve. Some relationships were never meant to follow you into your destiny. They were scaffolding, temporary, necessary only for a season, and now it is over. Type 444 if you are ready to release what no longer aligns with divine purpose. There is someone who stayed close, not out of love, but out of fear. Fear that you would rise, fear that your peace would expose their chaos, fear that your discernment would grow sharper, and it has. Now, beloved, you are seeing clearly. You are no longer fooled by tone. You are no longer soothed by false apologies. You no longer mistake charm for covenant. Michael says, you have graduated from deception, and now clarity is your companion. But listen closely. There is a financial trap that was forming, a partnership, a contract, or an offer dressed in light, but powered by greed. You were about to sign something, say yes to something, trust someone. But heaven interrupted. The delay you felt was divine. The resistance was not failure, it was protection. If you've felt this lately, type 911 now. You didn't miss a blessing. You dodged a bullet, Michael says. They tried to make it look like favor, but it was a leash, one designed to pull you out of alignment. But beloved, you are not for sale. Your soul is not up for negotiation. Your light cannot be owned. That's why the divine reset has begun. You are being unplugged from systems of dependency, freed from emotional debt, and elevated without compromise. And now, heaven is preparing a new circle around you, not just emotionally, but strategically, spiritually, prophetically. People are being moved into your orbit. People of integrity, of quiet wisdom, of divine access. They carry keys, and they've been sent to unlock what was held back, but they are drawn to clarity, not chaos, to truth, not illusion. Michael declares, this is why exposure had to come first. The wrong ones had to be removed before the right ones could enter. Do not rush this. Let the unfolding continue. Your only assignment now is to protect the space, to walk in prayer, to watch in silence, to obey the gentle voice of the Spirit. Type 2222 if you understand that this is a sacred time of separation and alignment. Beloved one, do you remember the dreams where you were being watched? The uneasy feeling after certain phone calls, the heaviness you couldn't explain? That was not just emotion, it was spiritual awareness activating in you. Michael says, now that your discernment has awakened, your path will illuminate rapidly. Expect sudden confirmations, a repeated name, a text that feels off, a dream that leaves you with clarity. Heaven is speaking in signs now. You just need to pay attention. This is your spiritual decryption season. The code is breaking. The illusions are shattering, and the true blueprint of your destiny is coming into view. Michael speaks. You have been under divine surveillance, not to be controlled, but to be protected, not to be judged, but to be justified. You are not under attack. You are under evaluation, and the verdict has been rendered worthy, protected, chosen. Type I receive the seal of clarity if your soul agrees. Stay with me, beloved. In part 5, the final obstacles will begin to move, and heaven will speak what your spirit has longed to hear. Like, comment, and subscribe. This isn't over. It's only just beginning. Beloved one, you've stayed. You've listened with the ears of your spirit, not just the mind. And now I must speak what the enemy hoped you would never hear. The reversal has already begun, says Michael, and their collapse is proof of your breakthrough. This is not a threat, it is a confirmation, because heaven is not just defending you, heaven is elevating you. There is a moment, a divine line in time where exposure becomes judgment and judgment becomes reversal. That moment is now. Michael says, every tear you wept is now turning to testimony. The storm you survived is now turning to stage. What they used to shame you, heaven is using to announce you. Type 414. If you believe that the pain was never wasted, someone underestimated your calling. They thought your delay was defeat. They mistook your silence for surrender, but now they are learning. You were not retreating, you were being refined. Heaven didn't hide you to bury you. Heaven hid you to protect what hell was trying to interrupt. Michael speaks again. And now that the refinement is complete, your name is echoing through the courts of heaven. Beloved, this shift is not symbolic, it's real. You are about to see physical manifestations, events, reversals, and announcements that carry prophetic fingerprints. The job they said no to, returning. The connection that ghosted you, convicted. In spirit, the resources withheld, being unlocked now. If you feel this already turning, type 555 to activate divine confirmation. There is someone right now watching your growth silently. They tried to block you before. Now they can only watch from a distance. Michael says, she who tried to gather pieces of your purpose has been removed from the room of access. She cannot re-enter. She cannot speak over your destiny. Her power was borrowed, and the lease has expired. Heaven has locked the door, and beloved, you are being escorted to a new door. You may not feel worthy. You may still carry scars. But scars are not signs of weakness. They are evidence of survival. Michael whispers, you did not break, you did not bend. You stood, and heaven took note. What you thought was unnoticed was being recorded in heaven's archives. Now comes the response. Divine justice does not come in wrath. It comes in clarity. Suddenly, you'll know who is who. Suddenly, you'll feel a peace that has no earthly explanation. Suddenly, your name will be celebrated by those who once overlooked you. Michael says, they tried to erase you, but heaven has written your name in light. And the ones who whispered lies will now whisper awe. Let go of the need to defend. Let go of the urge to explain. This elevation is not earned. It's granted, not by people, but by heaven. You do not rise by effort alone. You rise by alignment. Type, I receive the rise if your spirit bears witness. Beloved one, prepare now, because in the next 48 hours, you may receive a call, a name, a signal that feels familiar. Discern it, test it. You are not who you used to be. Michael warns, do not go back to what I've delivered you from. The familiar is not always safe. The past is not always honest. This reversal will be loud, but you must remain quiet in your soul. Don't explain your shift. Don't argue with the exit. Some people will assume you've changed. Let them. They were never meant to understand your calling. They were only meant to witness it. Now the final part of this movement is in motion. The enemy has been silenced. The watchers have been exposed, and heaven is clearing the path. Michael speaks. In the next chapter, you won't just survive. You will reign. You won't just be defended. You will be celebrated, because what they tried to steal could never be touched by human hands. Type Amen if you believe your inheritance is secured. Stay with me, child. In part 6, heaven will unveil what you were never supposed to forget, but what was hidden by fear. Like, share, and subscribe. Your reversal is proof. You are rising. The elevation is real, and it starts now. Beloved one, you've come to the end of the message, but not the end of your story. In fact, this is the moment heaven had been waiting to reveal, the moment where the veil is lifted, the war ends, and the instruction is sealed. I, Archangel Michael, now speak with final clarity. Your name has been removed from the whispers of watchers and written into the records of the victorious. The delays are broken, the distractions have crumbled, the deception has been exposed. You are now standing, not where they thought you would fall, but where heaven always planned for you to rise. Michael says what was monitoring you now stands motionless. What once tracked your tears now trembles before your calling. Beloved, this is not a warning, this is a transfer. A divine shift has occurred, and you, yes you, are walking out of the shadows. Not in shame, not in apology, but in authority. The chains are broken, the gate is shut, and now your hands are free to receive what heaven had been holding until now. The silence you felt was the weight of spiritual justice settling into place, says Michael. Type 444. If you feel the freedom you cannot explain. Now listen, there will be one final attempt, a shadow trying to slip through memory, a voice from the past, a sudden regret. But you must not engage. Michael warns, not all apologies are pure. Not all returns are from heaven. What looks like peace may be the last disguise of control. Trust what you feel. That tightness in your chest, it's divine discernment rising again. Your spirit knows the truth. You've grown, you've grieved, you've been stripped and reformed, and now heaven says you are ready, not for war, but for reign. The same voice that called you out of hiding now commissions you into destiny. Michael whispers, the gate behind you is closed. The throne ahead of you is yours to walk toward. Type I am ready, if your soul bears witness. Beloved, there is a final vision I must share. Last night, heaven revealed your name. It was being spoken by voices in rooms of influence. The very ones who once ignored your existence now speak of your wisdom. Michael says, the places that once denied, you're now preparing space for your arrival. You didn't miss it, you didn't delay it, it is right on time, but your hands must remain clean. Heaven is watching, not to judge you, but to protect you from contamination. Keep your space sacred. Burn the old letters. Delete the voice messages. Close the spiritual windows still. Cracked open. This is your time for divine inheritance, and heaven cannot pour fresh oil into vessels that hold bitterness. Type 555 if you're ready to be filled again. Now comes your reintroduction, not to the world, but to your divine identity. Michael says you are not just a survivor, you are a seer, a voice, a vessel of prophecy, a flame that darkness failed to extinguish. Everything they said about you has been overwritten. Heaven's final decree reads, this one belongs to me. And now your name is sealed, not with ink, but with light, not on paper, but in realms where the enemy cannot reach. Michael speaks for the last time in this message. You are untouchable, not because of pride, but because of purpose. You carry heaven's breath and it cannot be stolen. Beloved one, rest now. No more defending, no more reacting, just walking. Forward, upward, into everything heaven has ordained. You are chosen, you are protected, you are released. Type Amen if you receive this final sealing. Before you leave, remember this. This message was a map, not just a comfort, a key, not just a blessing. Now, walk through the door it revealed, and in the coming 3 days, watch, for signs will confirm every word. Heaven is not done with you. This is just your beginning. Like, comment, and subscribe if this was written in the language your soul understands. The trumpet has sounded, and you have heard it. Now, go in glory. Beloved one, you stood when it hurt. You listened when no one clapped. You obeyed without applause. And now heaven's final seal has not only protected you, it has commissioned you. Michael says, this silence you've walked through was not abandonment, it was activation. Heaven needed the noise to die down so that your true voice could rise. You are not leaving this season empty-handed. You are exiting with scrolls, with keys, with fire in your bones and clarity in your eyes. Michael continues, they will ask, what happened to you? But they won't understand the depth of your surrender. Do not waste time explaining. You are not here to make sense to the old world. You are here to lead into the new one. Your journey was not punishment, it was preparation. And now, heaven has responded. Type 777 if you feel the shift beneath your feet. Old identity is shed, the old weight has fallen, the trumpet has sounded and you have heard it. Walk now. The light is behind you, the fire is within you, and heaven goes before you.